Hello, cycling nerd. In this episode, we're going all nerd. That's why I put on my nerd glasses for you. Because today we're going to talk about route planning. How do I even know where to go on my race or also on other occasions? And I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm not saying that's the only way or even the best way to do it, but that's just the way I do it. And I really like it. And I hope you enjoy it too. So instead of looking at this face all the time, let's have a look at my screen. As you know, I'm planning to ride the Three Peaks bike race. And what I'm going to show you today is how I'm planning my route using a service called Komoot. By the way, I'm not sponsored or related in any way. I just really like the product they do or the service they offer and the way it works. It's free. As you can see, I am using their premium package, which gives you a number of additional features, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But the basic routing and route planning functionality of Komoot is absolutely free. By the way, I'm not going to show you like a full introduction to how to use Komoot. I'm just going to give you a little overview of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And then from there, you can basically do the rest. So in my case, what we're planning to do is to go from Vienna. And I'm just going to select the city center here because it really doesn't matter. And the way will hopefully lead me to the nice Mediterranean city of Nice. So there I'm going to set this one as my destination, and then Komoot will automatically plan the best route. And when I say best, obviously that follows a number of different criteria. The first one you should pay attention to is how are you going there? In my case, I'm going to go by road bike, but you could also plan a gravel tour. And if you look at the map now that I changed the mode of transportation, you can see that the route has changed, and that will obviously affect the route choice. So for my purpose now, I'm going back to road bike because that's what I'm planning to do. Then what's also interesting is down here you can see the total distance, and currently riding this route would lead me up almost 10,000 meters of elevation. What's also really interesting is to see if there's any segments or part of the route which will be blocked or temporarily blocked, or where the surface is not really suitable, or if I have to carry it up or down some stairs, if there's a ferry crossing. All those things will also be included here. And if you click on those kilometers, then the map will zoom in so you can immediately see where that's going to happen and maybe plan your way around it. Even more interesting is the waytypes and surfaces, especially if you're going by road bike. You might want to not go over too much single track or rough terrain. So for example, here I can see that there's no kind of gravel, but there's 572 meters of unpaved road. And if you hover over those different route types, you can also see on the map highlighted where those are. Obviously with a long route, that's a bit hard to see with the smaller ones, but you can also click on it and then you can see immediately where those segments are. And here, for example, we can see, well, that's probably just a really brief segment of unpaved road on the cycle path, so not really too bad. So just have a look around and play with this, and you can see immediately what's happening. The other thing you can immediately see is down here the profile of your route, where you can see some high peaks. Let me just zoom in here a little bit by selecting this. You can also see color-coded the kind of gradient that you will have to go up or down, and if you mouse over, you can see in the tooltip a rough incline. Be warned that this is not 100% correct, but at least it gives you a good idea. And the other thing is you can see if I scrub over the profile here, you can see how the location moves on the map, and vice versa. The same also works if I move my position on the map. You can see on the profile where that is. So that just gives you a good idea of what's happening, how things are looking, and that's happy days from there. Another really cool thing that I like, and this has been a fairly new addition to the Komoot service, is sometimes you want to see, well, do I really want to go, for example, here on this big route, it's even called the state road, do I really want to go up there, or am I just going to die immediately because a truck is going to run me over and stuff like this? So what you can do now is just click on any road segment. It doesn't even have to be on your route, which is the blue line. Just click anywhere, and whenever there is data available, you will see this little icon here. And that is your direct integration to Google Streetview. So I can click this and can see immediately what this route looks like. In this case, what it tells me is that, well, this is a route that doesn't have any space for cyclists on the side, but it also looks as if it's not too busy, and also not too steep, by the way. And Well, obviously then if you look around a little bit, you can see that there is this really big highway here in this specific location, which hopefully has most of the kind of through traffic. So there shouldn't be too much trucks and cars and stuff, like too much traffic going on. So instead of winding my way up this, apparently, if you look at the high profile, really steep surface, I can just take the route and drag it onto the state road here. And let's have a look how the profile changes. Yeah, you can see it's still a pretty high mountain because we have to go up all the way. But the incline is a lot smoother because now we're going up the state road. And I can do the same over here on the second half of the climb and maybe go on the state road as well, because we already established that it's not too bad. And this is kind of how you can then optimize your route planning and look, for example, also for those red little bubbles, which are so-called points of interest that people like you can put on your own ones. You can upload them or specify them on the map, and you can also just use them, for example, to plan your route to cross them. So this is kind of a good way to plan your route. Obviously, this is a fairly long route all the way from Vienna to Nice in one go. So as a last thing, I want to show you another one of my favorite features in Komoot, and this one is one of the premium features. So unfortunately, this one is not for free. You have to pay for it. And it's this button up here which says plan day-by-day itinerary, because this allows me to say, well, Komoot, you know what? This is a pretty long route. Please split it up into a number of days, like multiple days. And I'm going to show you what this looks like for a route that I'm going to ride as a preparation, kind of preparation for the Three Peaks bike race, which is to go from Düsseldorf to Berlin. And you can see that I split it into 3 days. So there's kind of 3 segments here. I didn't do this manually, but I actually used this multi-day planning tool. And let me just go into the planning module so you can see now that this is kind of a 3-day trip, and I can also change that after the fact. I can also go here into edit the itinerary, and this will bring me to a screen very similar to what we just saw, but on the left hand side you can see each of the 3 days kind of separated. And what's really nice about this is if I were to say make the first day longer, so let's say I want to go all the way here and make this my new endpoint for some reason, then this would automatically, once I save it, which I'm not going to do here because the other route is pretty much perfect, then this would also be reflected in the route planning for the second day, where the starting point would then be moved to that endpoint of the first day. And in addition to that, I could also use Komoot to look directly for accommodation, hotels, all those kind of places to stay, which is a pretty nice, or can be a pretty nice feature. Personally, I'm using it mostly to kind of split up my route and also make it a bit easier for Komoot to handle, because with those long routes, as you just saw directly from Vienna to Nice, this is a lot of data, so everything just gets really slow. So by chopping it up into smaller segments is not only easier for cyclists, but also for Komoot. Now, like I said, Komoot is not the only service that does that. There's other pages out there like Ride with GPS, and there's others. So use whatever you feel happy with. But also there's other websites that can help you with that. And one thing, since the Three Peaks bike race is crossing the Alps from east to west, so there's a lot of mountain peaks, hence the name. One website that I really like is a website which unfortunately is in German, but fear not, you can still use it if you don't speak German, because it's fairly easy to use. The website is called Quäl dich, which is kind of a quote related to Jan Ulrich. And the nice thing here is that it has information about all those passes. Like here, for example, I selected Mont Ventoux, but you could also look for, I don't know, let's say Stelvio, for example. The German name is Stilzerjoch. And then you can, well, see some basic information here. Like I said, the explanation or the text is in German. You can see some nice pictures. But what's really interesting and also useful for you, even if you don't speak German, is those profiles down here. So you can see, and obviously most climbs have multiple ramps. Stelvio has at least 2. There's actually kind of 3 of them. And you can have a look at them. You can see how they kind of wiggle through the landscape. You could also see the elevation and the gradient. And down here you can see the 3 different ones. So for example, the one from northeast, that's the one I also did. What exactly is happening there, and you can have a look on the map. You can also look at the profile. You can see that there's one really steep bit in here, and so on and so forth. So this website is just really useful to give you an idea of what a pass looks like or what a climb looks like. And you would be surprised how many even smaller ones are in there. So even if you don't speak German, I highly recommend using quelldich.de and just have a look up here for the pass or the mountain or the climb that you are planning to or looking into crossing. And maybe like if you have 2 alternative routes currently in your planning service, just have a look at both climbs, make sure to look at the correct ramp, and then just have a look at which one you would rather climb up. So this is it. Obviously this is not everything that goes into planning a route or a race like the Three Peaks bike race, but I hope this gave you a good understanding of where to start and also that there's tools out there to help you with that. There's lots of websites that can do that. I showed you Komoot today, again, not affiliated. I just really like what they do. And yeah, so I hope this gave you some ideas, and if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video.